is going to be sold just for something to eat, just for one meal, you know?
Not a good meal.
Yeah.
Because it said dove dung. Dung is shit. For
5 pieces of silver. Now today, 5 pieces of silver is about what? It's an average of that's about $150. Because it's a 1 troy ounce of silver is worth about an average of $30.
Yeah, something like that.
You know. It says, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help my lord, O king. And he said, if the Lord do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor, or out of the winepress? And the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son, and did eat him. And I said unto her, on the next day, give thy son, that we may eat him. And she have hid her son.
And the reason why that's happening back then is because the balances were all messed up. Just like how the balances are messed up now, and like it was speaking about in Revelations.
Right.
Those balances represent martial law and the money system, and how it's gonna, it's gonna be all out of whack. You're gonna, like the brother was talking about the Deutschmark back in World War I. You're gonna try to go get a gallon of gas, and the gas is gonna be $15 a gallon. Just like when the Hurricane Sandy happened, people were making a lot of money off of gas. And it's gonna go for other commodities. You're gonna need a roll of toilet paper. One single roll. I'm not talking about the whole pack. Just one roll may cost you like $20, or it may cost you your bed. It may cost you your woman or something. Cost you your pet, your animal. It's gonna go back to what they call the bargaining system, the barter system.
Yeah.
Where that's how it is in a lot of these foreign countries. Like for instance, my family's from the Bahamas. Down in the Bahamas, they don't have set prices on anything. Like on the smaller islands, you go there and you exchange what you got. That's how it's going to be, but on a larger scale in America. And a lot of these people, especially the white people, they got a lot of stuff to give up. And that's what's going to happen because of the balances. And that happened because that happened back during World War I and World War II, and it's about to happen again right before World War III.
Right.
Not to mention that, but similar situations with economic collapse happened in South America, like Peru, countries like Bolivia, where the so-called white man went down there and plundered the assets of these different countries. So it's already happened before. Even in this article, it mentions the fact that the government wouldn't allow people to collect rainwater. Now, you try to collect rainwater up here, you might get sick. So it's going to get bad out here, man.
Oh, got a quick scripture. Okay. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. And aforetime means in the past. That's why we go into Kings. We go into all the prophets and the history of the scriptures, because the scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. In Ecclesiastes, the 1st chapter. So if you look at history, you know exactly what's to come. And we're using history to show you through the Spirit what's to come. It says that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Because why? The men of the Lord in the scriptures in the past, they had hope during bad times, during rough times. They had hope. We got hope.
I'm finished reading this article. It says, global consumption of water is doubling every 20 years, more than twice the rate of human population growth. United Nations Development Program. The United Nations is behind all of this shit. Matter of fact, the United Nations brought out an article that said famine is coming, basically. And it says, if the current trend continues, also according to the United Nations, more than 1 billion people already lack access to fresh water. United Nations Development Program 2007. And the current trend, if the current trend continues by 2025, the demand for fresh water is expected to rise by over 50% more than the amount of water that is currently available. Multinational corporations recognize these trends and are trying to monopolize water supplies around the world. Monsanto, Bechtel, and other global multinationals are seeking control of world water systems and supplies. The World Bank recently adopted a policy of water privatization and full-cost water pricing. The World Bank's policy of privatizing the world's water supply conveniently coincides with the United Nations Agenda 21. Agenda 21 is actively promoting Agenda 21 is actively promoting the privatization for the world's water supplies through a water-for-profit scheme.
You said water-for-profit scheme?
Yeah, water-for-profit scheme.
That's the damn devil for you, man.
Yeah.
Using the natural resources the Most High gave us as a scheme to make profit, man. When it's freely given on the earth. That's something that's only a damn devil would do. You know, the word devil stands for deceiver. And that's deceiving as hell, man. But you know what? The more natural disasters come, the more water is gonna be more valuable. Because this girl I know up in New York, she says in certain parts of New York, people are only drinking distilled water because of Sandy. It messed up all the water treatment plants. You know, it swept a lot of toxins in there and knocked out the power so they couldn't operate. So now a lot of water that's coming and running through people's faucets and showers and stuff is completely dirty. It's hard to get real water. But it's all synthetic anyways, you know. That's why when you run your water for your dishes, depending on the area you live in, you gotta let it run for a little while and then start washing, because the first 5 minutes it's gonna be all brown and shit, you know. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it.
Yeah, I remember that happened. I can't think of. Oh man, it was a hurricane in 1999. I remember my freshman year in high school shit. It was like, I forget, and then they had to like pretty much import water from somewhere else. We was getting some bottled water from somewhere else. I forget, and we weren't allowed to use the water. And, like, pretty much, if you wanted like to shower or whatever, it was basically recommended that you boil the water before you shower.
Well, that's how it is. It already is in South America. You know, when you go to Mexico, the first thing they tell you is don't drink the water.
See?
Or you have to get a shot with a long ass needle put into you. So you could just take Mexico for example. The whole earth is going to turn into Mexico.
Yep.
Cool. Continue.
Second Ezra chapter 15, I'm start at 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And those are all the attributes that come when the dollar fails. I'm gonna read it again. It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring, and then that's another thing. The Lord is saying that he's gonna bring it. It says the sword, which is a killing instrument, which will be a gun now, but people are gonna go back to swords. You may not have your own gun.
And they show you that in Revolution.
So I got a little testimony. We was out there on a job, you know, because the job we deal with different people all throughout the day, and we went into this one Jake's apartment, and he had a sword that was like 8 feet long. Like it was taller than me. It was a big ass fucking sword. Looked like something the Goliath would carry. And he had a whole collection of them, man. And I was asking him, like, how do you train with that? How do you practice that? He's like, hey, I do a little here and there. So, I mean, a lot of people are already hit, man. They got these weapons, man. They're ready. The Most High put these evil spirits on these people, and all hell breaks loose. It's gonna be a wrap for a lot of people who weren't listening to the prophets out there warning, especially our people.
And that's why the scripture said, all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And another one, it said famine, like we're reading right now in a current news article. A famine is a lack of, most of the time it's a lack of bread. Lack of bread comes with lack of water. And that's what's coming to America. Death, you want death? Them 27 kids just got lit up. That's gonna be on a normal basis. But that ain't gonna be shit. And Lord willing, about a 6 month time span. Another one, it says destruction. That's ultimately coming to America. Destruction. I mean, everything's destroyed.
Can you give me Sirach 39:28?
Ecclesiasticus, surnamed Sirach 29 and 28.
39:28.
Oh, 39, sloppy. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Yeah, then.
Hey, the Most High, man, he's gonna pour out those different spirits on these people out there. Like the famine, sword, pestilence. All of these spirits are created for these 2/3 niggas and these other nations, man. Everybody has a designated one, Some people are designated to die by the sword, the nuclear missiles. Some want to starve to death out here. Some people going to get sick, severely sick, and die painful deaths, man.
Can you get Jeremiah 15:3?
Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 3 says, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy.
That's right, Stan. You're going to have a lot of people that's going to die, and the beast of the earth is going to eat them, especially over there in the Middle East. The Lord has a great sacrifice that's going to go over there in the Middle East.
Oh yeah, that's Yahweh Shabbat, the Most High's judgment.
But yeah, that scripture basically, adds on to Sirach 39th chapter. Finish reading this article a little bit, because basically these Edomites, man, they set this thing up, and hopefully we conveyed this through these different articles that we brought out, and brought out scripture for. It says Agenda 21 further addresses the looming water crisis in chapter 18, which states that water is a unitary resource, long-term development of global fresh water, holistic management of resources, yada yada. Skip down for time's sake. It says, unfortunately, this does not prove to be the case when one considers what has happened to Bolivia's indigenous people's access to fresh water, which these were Israelites. These are the Northern Kingdom. They court held down there. Agenda 21 strategy for privatizing the world's water is quite simple. The United Nations financial partner, the World Bank, and its associated set of central banks around the planet cripple a nation's economy, largely because the use of fiat currency, which is going on in America. And the World Bank is stationed in the United States, Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Basically. their office, their head office is in Washington, D.C. It says, use of fiat currency and forced assumption of bankers' derivative debt. Subsequently, the World Bank's attempts to resuscitate that nation's economy through a series of regime-saving loans. World Bank loans offer the hope of staving off massive human suffering resulting from lack of basic necessities, staggering unemployment, and all the other accompanying variables, which could lead to a violent overthrow of a nation's political power structure. However, the terms of a typical World Bank loan would make the most adept loan shark green with envy, because these loans yield high, very, very high interest rates, and they leave these different countries in deep debt. Often as a precaution of receiving the loans, the World Bank imposes some very draconian conditions, such as the privatization of basic necessities of life. Example, water, for which their corporate partners derive great economic benefit. Now, nowhere has this scheme been played out more directly than in the late 1990s and the early 2000s in Bolivia. The first large-scale dry run of Agenda 21 plan to privatize water took place in Bolivia when someone at the World Bank flipped the switch and demanded the privatization of Bolivia's water supply as a precaution for massive debt. Just read a few points there. It's a city in Bolivia, 800,000 people. The public water system of El Alto, its neighbor, La Paz, the nation's capital, was privatized in 1997. And the classic conflict took the interest case. Private feudalism has shape-shifted into global corporatocracy. Headed by the United Nations and Agenda 21. Basically, it says, how long will it be until America becomes the next Bolivia? But you know,
and through the spirit, it's going to go hand in hand with the war. When America actually goes into Iran, that's what,
yeah. They
always do that shit. It happens all the time. World War II.
And if you want this article, it's thecommonsenseshow.com. The title is The Coming Water Wars. It's by David Hodges, you know. So, with that being said, you know, give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. And Lord's will, we'll be back next week with more news articles, linking them through with the scriptures.
Okay. And double honors to our elders. And again, Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, Barakatham to all you Akim out there about to go out and do the work. Stay strong, keep enduring, and keep the faith. Shalom.